Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. I hope you enjoy, so let's get started.
So just like any kitchen would have, I have an exhaust fan that's attached to this microwave here. And you know, it of course goes out to the ceiling and out of the roof. But let's take a look upstairs real quick. I know, we were going to take a look up in the attic, but let's take a moment and look at this thing. So as I just showed you, there's a vent in the kitchen, and it's attached to the microwave, and it vents, you know, steam off of the top of the stove top there, vapors and whatnot, out of the house. At least that's what you would think it would do, and there is a pipe leading up to the attic. And I noticed this the other day when I was up there feeding wire for the Encon. I've noticed it before, but for some reason I've never put it together in my head that there is not a hood outside for this vent. So here is a hood. This hood was left in the garage here when I acquired the place, and I wonder if this is exactly what it was for and they just never put it on. The roofers literally covered up all of the vent hood things like this that would have originally been used to ventilate the attic itself and put in a ridge vent across the top. So these were not needed anymore. And I'm thinking they covered up that vent to the kitchen because they weren't thinking or whatever. And now there's just no vent for the kitchen. I've always wondered why it doesn't work. Today, me and my friend were scrubbing the ceiling in the kitchen because when I was doing the Encon, you know, I used a magic eraser on the ceiling and, well, that made a difference. But thinking about that and how it never really vented anywhere, it probably did before they put a new roof on, before I got the place. But this is our hood. I think it's going to work perfectly. It has a little grate on it here. It seems to be exactly what we need for this. It seems to be the right size, hole and everything. So let's continue and take a look in the attic real quick. I'm not going up here all the way today, but you can see the vent stack for the furnace in the basement. And then if you look in the center of your screen, you can see a curved pipe right there. That's the pipe we're looking for outside. And that is what connects to our vent in the kitchen. You can kind of see it there in the center of your screen. That's what we're looking for. I wanted to see what it looked like up here, how far down it is. I think what I found outside matches that area. And based on where the other hoods used to be, they're up higher. So that has to be it. Let's dig deeper. And would you look at that? After some investigative work, here's our vent for the kitchen. Why is it covered up? I have no idea, but we have our cover and we're going to learn roofing here very quickly. Boy, you can even hear the fan from the microwave up here. Look at that. Yeah, that's a lot more than before, which was a whole lot of nothing. Now we got airflow. No wonder it wasn't working before. So annoying. Okay, now I just got to put some fasteners in here and silicone them up, and we'll be good to go. There's the end result. I'm no roofer, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and the fact that the exhaust fan will actually work now. With my parents being so generous to bring the entire Encon collection out here for me to enjoy, there are some things that came with it that I didn't share in the first little video on my main channel, just going over what I have received. And some of those things aren't actually parts. They're more or less just some pretty cool documentation items, like we have right here. This one kind of promoting the different designs of the Encons. And I got some more of those things, and they're right here. These are really cool. These came out of a binder that was provided to my parents from the wonderful lady that sold these for so many years. And these, I'm sure, were all together in some type of other binder when she originally obtained them, or in a catalog or something. But I have decided to frame them because they're just too cool to leave in that binder. So let's take a quick little look at what some of these are. This one just shows the top of an Encon here and some different installation ideas. Pretty cool photos there. I love that. The top-down view there. This one shows the fans in, again, a whole bunch of different installations. Love these installations. An interesting thing to note here is that this one shows the fans with some pull chain assemblies on the bottom, which is not noted anywhere in the documentation for these. So I don't know if that was a very rare thing to have, but we only got the top half part of it, as you saw in looking through some of the items, going through and sorting in the garage there. So this just shows the system itself and all the wonderful places you can use them. And this one shows the construction of the fan. Isn't that cool? All the interior components. Very cool. And then this one, she had some other documentation too. This one is for an Emerson heat fan. That's awesome. The funny thing about this one is I have this exact same model in the garage. The K55 motor with the fiberglass blades, 3-blade, just like this. The only thing is mine doesn't have an emblem on the side there, but it's the exact same model. So that's pretty cool to have on a piece of documentation. This is actually a guide that'll let you calculate your heat saving costs through installing the Emerson heat fan. Of course, this is just the cover page. I just put the little booklet in here. It was literally like 3 pages, so I just put the whole thing in the frame because I really liked having a heat fan in a, portrait like this. This is really cool. But that's not all. Those are the ones that I decided to frame, but there's way more stuff right here. And this stuff is really cool. Now, I may have shown these little booklets before. Here's 4 of them. I got another one in the showcase over here with the light bulbs in it. But here's 4 more of these booklets. This thing is totally awesome. This is the Encon Designer Style Book. Let's set that aside for a minute. And in here, we're going to find all kinds of information about ceiling fans. Those pictures are really cool. We'll take a look at those another time. But there's just all kinds of documentation here. And here's another hidden thing. This Hunter Original Catalog. It shows all the different models, designs, and it's a 4-page fold-out booklet. This thing's really cool. There's no real way to display the pictures inside because I don't want to ruin the booklet. But this one has the 52 and 36-inch fans inside of it. Very cool. We're going to have to go through that and all this other documentation here. There is just so much stuff. It is amazing. And some old advertisements for competitors at the time. Just a lot of really cool stuff here. So that's what's inside this booklet. We'll have a more detailed video of that coming on the main channel eventually. But I just want to show this real quick before we find a home for these wonderful prints. This thing is really cool. As I've stated, it says the Encon Designer Style Book. On the front here, we have a 4-bladed white designer in the same kind of configuration as this one, but this one has 48-inch blades, and this one looks to have 56-inch or so blades on it. And of course, this one has the 4 light kit instead of the, Calcutta design here without a light kit on it at all. So if you open this thing up, we're going to find some different applications in here. I wish the lights weren't so glary, but we'll make it work. Here's one in a kitchen. Similar idea to what I did, but I have metal blades on mine and it's not brown. It is above a table though, because it does sit kind of low with, these older ceilings. A whole bunch of different pictures of where you can use these. But here's the kicker. This thing lets you decide what light kit and style of fan you want to put together. This thing is epic. Okay, here's another picture. Does that one look familiar? In fact, it is the exact same model right here. That is so cool. Okay, let's do one of these, and I'll go through all of them on the main channel at some point. But the idea here is that you can flip through these little pages here and pick a light kit. And then flip through these. Let's just pick a random one. And then pick a top fan and fan blades. Isn't that so cool? There's a whole bunch of these here that you can go through and choose from so you can design your own fan however you'd like. It's just so epic. That's the coolest thing ever. So we'll go through all the different designs and all that on the main channel eventually. But this is the Encon Designer Style Book. I really wonder where that all-American Encon is. That would be a find of the century. One of them I put on the wall right here. It covers up a scuff really nicely. That's been there ever since I had the house. I just didn't feel like painting it. It wouldn't come off with a magic eraser, but it's a good spot for it because we have the Encon up here, and it has a little bit of a documentation friend. Now I actually have two of this exact piece of paper, so one of them's still downstairs on the door, and the other one's right here. So, I mean, it goes together well. This one goes with the fan up there, and the other one goes with the fan down here. So let's move our way on down to our other Encon here, and we'll find the exact same piece of paper, and then the red one here that shows all the different installations. Very nice. I decided to put the Emerson one right here. It's kind of all by itself. You know, it doesn't match the Encon because it's not Encon, but I definitely want it out and about. So there it is. That seems to be a pretty decent spot for it. And then over here, I put the other two Encons. We got the kind of just advertisement picture one, and then the construction or the schematic of it here. And I think those go pretty well on this wall too. But now it's time to turn our attention to the Encon here in the kitchen again. Obviously it has a little bit of a wobble. You don't notice it so much right now, but when it starts up, it's most certainly noticeable. So I'm going to go ahead and take these blades off. We're going to get rid of the old rubber washers that are totally disintegrated, put some new lock washers on, and then we're going to balance or weigh them and try it all over again, see what we get. For a little bit of visual comparison, let's turn it on here on low. And you'll see what I mean when it gets up to speed here. There it goes. So it wobbles pretty extremely like that for a little bit, and then it settles down. So that's what our starting wobble is, I suppose. Here's the brackets, and here's the blades. So basically there was a rubber grommet thing that went between both sides of the blades and filled in this middle hole here. And you'd have to insert those and then put these on. But obviously I can't find that exact part. So we're going to do our best to move all the blades to one side, because you know they're going to want to fling out anyway, and tighten it down that way with some lock nuts on it. But that's what it looks like. The holes are a little bigger than the size of the brass bolts here. So let's see what we can come up with, and hopefully that balances the fan. I started doing it up here on the kitchen table, but realized there was going to be way more involved. Anyway, we have our blades put back together here with new spacers in place and new lock washers and everything. So I also have the scale here to see if, I don't know, maybe two of them are the same weight and the other two are the same weight, so we can balance it somewhat. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get these back up and on our fan here. Okay, I let it run on high for a second just to get everything situated so it felt like, you know, it was flung out or whatever. And after running that for a little bit, we turned it off and I tightened everything up, at least on the blades and the blade arm side. The blade arm's already tightened to the machine, or the motor, I should say. Anyway, let's turn it on low. I'm guessing it's still going to be wobbly. Yep. Wobble is its name. Dude, it's worse. Oh my goodness. Well, it was worse getting going and it's fine again. How annoying. Anyway, I guess it'll just be a constant thing to work with. Since I'm so annoyed with the white blades in the kitchen, we're going to try what my second idea was. And that is the small 42-inch teak wood blades. These are very tiny. And I have some new brackets here. So we're going to put them together, get them on the fan, and see if it makes any difference. Out of the options I have here, I have a bunch of 56-inch wood. And of course I have a bunch of metal blades. I have some brown 4 metal blades there. Let's take a look at those just for the heck of it. I'm not against mixing matching colors. It might make something unique. Oh, it might be weird, but we're going to give it a try anyway. So we have these 42-inch brown 4 blade pack here. And there's our date code, so that's pretty cool. This has never been opened before. We still have the tape here. So let's go ahead and open it up. Let's see if it already has arms on it. Looks like it might. Okay, so pulling it out of this box reveals another box. So here we have cast shank. They must be talking about these things. Maybe it's the same thing. Again, these are brand new, never opened. Let's go ahead and see. And here's what's inside. 2 2-packs. How interesting. So, that's what it says here, 42-inch brown. And it does appear, as far as I can tell, to have this same arm on it. So, look at this bag. Isn't this cool? 2 blades, new old stock. That's probably not what it means, but that's what I'm going to say it means. Encon, Crompton Greaves. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Look at the tiny little blade arm on this thing. Oh yeah, that's totally a different size compared to the normal ones here. Look at how big these are in comparison. Oh, that is neat. Okay, definitely might try these out. I really do want to have metal in the kitchen. It'd be so much easier to clean being in a kitchen. Let's take a look here. Obviously we have more cane. I don't want to put that in there. Let's see, that's 3 blade. Brown 3 blade, brown 4 blade. What size is that? 48-inch. That's what we have over the stairway. Then we have some big ones. Those are 3 blade, white and white 4 blade, 3 blade brown, 3 blade white. Okay, so this might be the closest thing here. I have some brown 4 blade ones, but they're like the 56-inch. So that's a little too big. So I think before we go the route of the teak wood blades, let's give these metal ones a try. It's smaller, same size, 42-inch. I think it might look pretty cool, so let's do that. There's 2 blades. Boy, that's going to look bizarre. Let's open our other 2-pack here. Well, it does make it look smaller, and I kind of like that in such a small room. But the main difference here is just look at the contrast with the blades and the motor. In a way, I kind of like it. It sets it apart from the ceiling a little bit. It's just bizarre seeing the 2-tone because, of course, all of them you would have naturally wanted to anyway, put the 2 same colors together. The blades and the housing and all that kind of stuff. And then you end up with just an all-white fan or an all-brown fan or, you know, whatever. But this one, you know, I mean, you technically could. You could ask for something like this, I suppose. There's nothing against it. Okay, let's turn it on low. Here we go. Okay, so there's still a little bit of wobble, but you know what? It's like nothing compared to what was there before. I think this is our answer. In previous videos, we've talked about this fan here in the basement bathroom before, but we've never talked about this fan, and this thing has a story all of its own. So this thing is obviously an exhaust fan and a heat lamp combined into one, but the problem I have with this thing is that it's noisy. Now you may not be able to tell it here on camera, but this thing does get loud at times, and the blower wheel inside is completely busted. I'm going to take it down here. I've ordered a new blower wheel. Let's hope it's the right one. And we're going to replace it. Let's see what we can do with this thing. Inside the box is this, our blower wheel. It looks to be the right size. I really do hope it's the same thing. So again, let me get it out of there, and, well, I really hope this works. With the bulb and cover removed, we can find our motor inside here. So you can see I took some washers and taped them together with some electrical tape to make a vibration, you know, dampening device. This thing is really just kind of put together. You can see the blower wheel in there. You can see a zip tie holding it together. Now I just gotta loosen it, get it out. So here's the blower wheel inside there. You can see it's totally just cracked and broken. And I have all the zip ties in the world trying to hold this thing together. It's worked for 4 years now since I got the place. I've been maintaining it every couple months. It needs some assistance, but I've really gotten tired of it, and I can't find this exact same specification of blower wheel. And I think the one we got, hopefully it'll fit on here. Again, I'm not sure. Let's go and compare. I'm going to say this one's a little smaller. Nope. It appears to be the same. It's got a different number of fins on it, but that shouldn't be too much of a bother. Out in the garage here now, we can take a little bit of a closer look. So, obviously our new one, our old one, I think that's what made it look shorter to me, is the fact that this one doesn't have as many fins on it. If it would just stay here for a second. It is the same dimensions. I mean, I'll give them that. It's the same dimensions. It's ever so slightly smaller, but it seems to be the same dimensions. This one actually has a Braun number on it. This one doesn't say anything, but you can see the cracking that has happened here, and I've tried to make it stay on. So let's get this thing off. And inside, we'll find our part number. You can see this one is a 9902014. What is that? I-A. It's a 9902014G. I mean, it's close, but it's not the same, obviously. We got our new blower wheel installed. After much testing, I discovered that we need the blower wheel to be flush with the end of the shaft here, so I got it right there. And I took this off because I thought maybe that's why it was having such a hard time getting on there, and now I'll place it back on there to the best of my ability. But this is on there. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So let's get this back in the fan and see what we get. Had to close the door because now the HVAC is on, but let's see what we get. It's still got noise, but I can tell you one thing, it isn't as bad. I've already been upstairs to listen to it because it would resonate through the floor, and it was so annoying before, but this is a world of difference. Super happy.
I really do hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Leave a like down below and a comment. I do enjoy reading all of your comments. Of course, check out the other videos here on the screen. And until next time, thank you very much for watching.